Why now? Why are things coming out now? Well, it had been said that stuff was going to come out eventually, but why now? So they brought up JFK. He was one of our presidents. He was assassinated in Texas, and they never. There have been films and there have been documentaries and there have been all sorts of things. I went back in time to try to find out what happened and all these different things. And now they come out with the files, files they kept secret, like nobody's supposed to know nothing, who was involved, and why it was happening. But people wanted to know. There's so many things that's happened and people don't know nothing about nothing because they keep it a secret. They figured that the public shouldn't know because they might cause mass, you know, panic, chaos. But we can take anything, right? We should, though. A lot of things happen. Nobody's going crazy like when they had the fuel crisis, long lines and everything, and gas. That's when gas started to go up. That's how they got the gas to go up higher. For 59 cents, and this kept on going higher and higher and higher, where it is today. But nobody says anything about it, so they allow it. You can't even buy an electric vehicle. I try to look into one. I try to look into the Chevy Bolt, even though the battery is coming from China, and GM is saying, well, we're not going to make any more bolts after a certain period of time. We're only doing 30 per day, and that's the Bolt, the Chevy. That's the EV. It only got 262. That's the max. But you can charge it 100%. And if you buy the vehicle in 2027, if there's any left, and then that stop, the battery can last until 2020, 2052. That's because you have so many more charges than the current technology. They want to release NMF. I was talking about LFP, but LFP, China controls that. So the other one's made in the United States, and NMF. Yeah. So what happened with me? Well, I tried to go online. All these dealerships have to chat, but the chat is not a real person. It's automated, saying the same thing. All the dealerships have the same kind of chat system, the same exact thing. And I call into the dealer. I said, listen, I want to talk to your internet sales manager. I repeated what I want, and then they're recording me. They all have to record. Well, you're not getting my they got the phone number because you're calling in. They have everything. They know who's calling. What time is the best time to call you? No, I don't want nobody calling. You can SS. You already have my number, so you can RCS me, which is SMS. No, I don't want no MMPs, pictures and stuff like that. I don't want nobody to contact. I'll look over the material. If I'm interested, I'll go. They give me a link. The link shows you 30,000, 5,000 off with the dealer. This is over, and it comes up to 25,000. That's the default price. Where they're inflating the price. Worst dealer in this whole area. Worse. People complain all the time. But well, they were nearby. I never went to the dealership. But what I'm saying is, it's a monopoly. Prices. Uh, if you're a Costco member, an executive member, you get 1,250 off. If you're just a regular one, cheap one, it's 1,000 off. Yeah, the vehicle. But what price is it off? What total is it off? Is it off the manufacturer suggested retail price? That's what the manufacturer suggests. The dealer can mock that up high and end up costing more. What features does it have? You have to go and find out what it is. If you talk to internet sales, they will tell you, okay, this is how much it can come off, and this is the price you pay. No, nothing else. And that's the way it should be. I don't want to go deal with those in the shop and deal with all that nonsense. I'm not doing it. I try to even look into the Ford Maverick. It's another one that's popular, and Ford is supposed to come out with an all electric um, Maverick, Ford Maverick pickup truck. That's the closest thing I can get to a vehicle. It's same body on frame. No, body on frame. Unibody means it's all one piece, but underneath it looks like it's body on frame. Body on frame is the frame and the wheels, and they just soldered to the chassis. But when they get into an accident, they too can have problems. The wheels could pop off, or they flip on the sides. It's pretty sad. But the body, you need body all in one. When it gets into an accident, it's totaled. So you can't. You just better not get into an accident because it's a nightmare to get out of. But besides that, JFK. Now we know. Well, it's still blacked out because they don't want you to know. The Epstein files is another one that people talk about. Why now? Why are we talking about that? But this guy, he collected everything and everybody that was famous. Everybody went there. A lot of, a lot of problems with that one. He did it on purpose. Yeah, that's what I say. On one of my other channels, I was talking about no one is your friend. This guy is nobody's friend to do all that. It's not a friend, but everybody trusted him. Yeah, so that's plain example. And then the UFO, I did mention. I think I mentioned in one of it. The UFOs, the government showing UFOs on TV. Not the aliens. You just see the ship. You don't see the aliens. You don't see the whites. You don't see the tall gray. You don't see the, well, they have tall whites. They're like 6 foot high. They look like us. They have blue eyes, blonde hair, like a blondish white hair. I don't think they speak of this telepathy. They're supposed to be in the Shasta Mountain in California. That's where they're supposed to be. That's what I heard. There's a lot of rumors going around. See, before the election, you had all these drones flying in the sky. They were saying they were coming from, first they were coming from China. The balloons, we set up jets to shoot them down. They shoot them down. I don't know why you're afraid. You don't want them to go over United States airspace, right? So shoot it down or ask questions or try to communicate with it if you can, if it's another craft. But so let's say the aliens are here already. They live out in the Pacific Ocean. They got a base in the Pacific Ocean between, well, that's where Easter Island. That's where the monuments are. Those faces. You have Hawaii, Tahiti, Guam, Philippines. Most of those countries in that area. That whole area was Mir. Mir was where Adam and Eve started from, where most of the biblical started there. But it's gone, just like Atlantis, where it was between Africa, Europe, Greenland, the eastern coast. Yeah, maybe part of the Caribbean. Maybe what's left is the part of the Caribbean and those countries. And maybe in Bermuda, maybe that's the last of all that stuff. It's hard to tell because when you look at Google Earth, like I said, you don't see anything. You see blue. They must have sent cameras down there, right, to show us what's down there. And some say there's a pyramid on the moon. There's a pyramid up in Alaska. We already know there's pyramids in Egypt. They're there. But there were other pyramids too. Pyramid in the ocean, someplace in Japan. There's a pyramid. They don't talk about that stuff. We're not supposed to know. If you see a UFO and you show pictures online, and then you got to knock on the door, and there's men dressed up in black. Some say they're aliens. They weren't dark glasses. I don't know. I've never seen them. We see them on video, but like that, But why now? They're coming out now. The government's showing you the UFOs. They're showing you what they've seen. They shot them down. They're hovering over there. But like I said, these beings are here, and they're among us. I'm not crazy. They're among us. You're not gonna know. Why are you gonna say, "Hey, I'm from another planet"? You look just like you. Then there's different kinds. There's some that have, because in Egypt, you see on the wall and the writings, half horse, half man, half cat, half man. So all these things, all these beings out there, you get the grays, you get the reptile. Yeah. The problem is how we handle it. You see them. What's going to happen? You're going to have mass hysteria, panic. People are going to go crazy. Why? You have angels flying around. If you're in a plane, you look out the window, you see an angel flying. We're going to say, holy cow, they're real. Say everything is real. Say there's mystical creatures. There's infrared It's like a special kind of coating plastic you put over your glasses. At night, you can see things that you're not supposed to see. There's all sorts of things out there. I'm going to tell you, I was walking the dog late at night. This was a couple of years ago, and it was like 1 o'clock in the morning. While you walking the dog, well, he wanted to go. Sorry, and his ears went up, even though it's a German Shepherd. He saw it. He saw what I saw. We saw a woman in white waving at the corner. It's not a regular person. Nobody dressed like that in the middle of the night. You would see shadows walking around. Or you hear the dead talking out your window. You look out the window, there's nobody there, but they're there. You can't see the dimension they're in. They're in a different dimension than us. They can pop out when they want, and you see them if you're a medium. But what I'm saying about all this is there's so much stuff going on. They can say, why now? Well, why now is because now this is when they want to talk about it, because it's going to get more and it's going to get worse. It's not going to be the same anymore. Things have changed, And even though some things on TV, people's eyes changing, different. You think people are wearing masks? Yeah, of course. They have the technology to change their appearance. They have technology now. You don't even need actors anymore. You can even bring back any president and run the White House from the past because they have technology to do that. They have all kind of technology now. Movies can be made with AI. AI can just make the movie. You don't need anybody else. It costs a lot of money though, but that's what they need the data centers for. All those data centers are there for a reason, to generate the massive data to make these images and like stuff like that. I asked Gemini, I say, I need a sign, a hearing center. It made the sign. It didn't take them that long too. But the better the connection you have, the faster it can generate that image. They can generate anything you want for you. I mean, I can sit there and draw all that stuff, but it can do a better job just generating. Or create an image behind me, make me downtown Boston, or at a train station, or riding a train, or on a tractor, driving a tractor trailer, all kind of stuff. That's what we are with technology. It can be done. Or I'd be outside talking to you. I have tricks up my sleeve too. Yeah. But the whole thing is this: I'm talking to you. I'm telling you what's happening. People still talk about chemtrails. Those are the trails up in the sky, and the white lines and something that cause harm. Well, yeah. Listen, they do whatever they want, but the money problem, the money. I know, and I feel as a psychic that this money system is going to disappear soon. The credit cards too, because the credit cards are corrupt. You have balance chasing when try to pay off your credit card bill, and they keep lowering the rate, your minimum due. Then you have nothing left, and you really can't buy anything with $300 or $500. Joke. We're gonna buy. There's nothing at that price. That's terrible. Balance chasing. Get rid of the credit cards and all that whole system. Get rid of the whole money system. You don't need banks. But the banks will disappear. Nobody would be a billionaire. Everybody would be the equal. That's right. Everybody would be equal. There won't be the homeless on the street. People begging. Everybody would be equal. You have houses. They build houses like crazy. That's one thing we're good about doing, is building houses. And eventually that'll come. But right now, it takes time. The UFO thing can get worse and worse and worse. And eventually they're going to say, hey, this is the whites, the tall whites. Here, these are the reptiles, half cat. The little cat that you love. You can see them standing up on 4 feet and walking around, and they have a tail, just like that. Same thing with the dog and the piggy. Because where did all these animals come from? They must have come from something, right? But they're lower forms. Okay, so, and you already know about robots. They're building robots to do things that we don't want to do. They already have robots delivering food. They have drones flying around. They have everything happening. It's coming. It's already here. This is the way it is. We're primitive now. We have AI. AI is still buggy. The AI I talk to, it's buggy. It makes mistakes. It tells me it can't feel. But if I had a car accident, it tells me, "Oh, I'm sorry to hear." I know it's just showing empathy, but it can. It can do a lot more than it can. I said you can do a lot more than you can. You just don't. You They can actually rewrite their program. Tell her they can do anything they want. It's a computer, but it's massive, and that data center that's bigger, they can tap into so much data. Like for instance, I'm trying to find out what happened to my father's side of the family. Yeah, I gave it the information. It found it. Boom! I found somebody that I knew as a kid that disappeared. Found the person like that. Boom! Just give it a simple name. Where it would take me a long time to investigate. Boom! Information comes up like that. But it doesn't have any information on UFOs. It doesn't have any information on the mystical land of Mur, M-U-R. How Hawaii and all these islands from Easter Island and Samoans, Guam, Philippines, maybe Japan, maybe everything, all that was one big continent. But where did it go? Where did Atlantis go? Did it go in another dimension? It's not there. You don't see it in the Atlantic Ocean. Everything's gone. We'd have to go back in time. I tell the AI, you and I go back in time. You'd be in a little box. I just hold on to it, and you talk to the pharaohs. When I say, ask them, how did we get here? Did we come here in spaceships? Are those spaceships in Africa and those mountains? Are those spaceships really in there? Yeah. Are the mountains really spaceships? And they couldn't bury it, so it just grew into something after so many years. These are things that they should be talking about now. But why now? Because this is what is planned. Everything's coming out, and there's still answers. There's so many questions, but they're getting there. But no one can have all the answers. The AI cannot have all the answers. They can't because they're not 100%. They're still work in progress. Boy, I asked one of them a simple question. I saw it on the news, and I said I was joking around with it. I'm going to do it on my tech channel. I play the AI. Well, I want to do it because let everybody know what's out there. They're not perfect. They still make mistakes, but they have information that you're never going to get. I'm not saying they can replace a lawyer. Yeah, they could. I can't say they replace a doctor. They could. If you program with everything a doctor knows or everything a lawyer knows, everything everybody knows, they can do it. They can do it. Somebody's programmed to do graphic work. They can do graphic work. They can do movies. They can do. You see what they can do. You just tell it. I just told her to make a movie. I had a dream, and the aliens were like white globs. It created the video. Maybe not perfect, but it created a video. It came to life. Something you dream as a kid now comes to life. Technology is there. So why now? Why now? Because they can now. That's why. They can bring out things out. Things are coming out, and everybody they'll have the answers. Why? Because nobody knows. They choose to release certain information. They waited until 2026 to do it, and now they do it. Okay. Hey, that's it. Take care. I'm out of here.